good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to the exciting installment of Memories of the Cherry Blossom Throne. This evening's scene takes place as a new arrival to Kyoto proper wends her way through the city streets. These are new streets, unfamiliar streets. They arc and turn away from you at odd angles. You hear merchants cry their wares. Buy my fish! He's good fish straight from Nagasaki this morning! I'm never going to do that accent again, I swear to God. Uh, the immutable pavement beneath you, however, carries your feet. You're here to see, here to observe, here to taste, here to understand as your eyes flick this way and that around you until you hear a small coughing noise from behind you. A very polite little
Um, yeah. She'll look around a little annoyed that someone managed to sneak up on her like that.
you will then
But she'll
see,
not show it.
you will then see the greatest sight known to man. Warboar! I'm only kidding. You don't actually see Warboar. I just like using Warboar. Warboar!
This is fine.
Standing behind you, you will in fact see this man, though he does not have the mask currently. He is dressed in a very fine black and white kimono with red ornamentation, and he is smiling at you with a very wide smile that shows most of his teeth.
She'll bow.
Hmm. He returns the bow, but it's much more shallow than yours. And he
Mhm.
says, I was contemplating. What is it that has you walking amid the people on this fine, fine morning? What is it you're seeking? What is it you're looking for? Or rather, is there anything in particular you're looking for? Or are you just looking to find your feet?
Are we not all looking to find our feet?
A fair point, a fair point, a fair point. Correct me if I'm wrong. He seems to sniff the air. He kind of leans his head back and, I don't know you.
Well, we are on equal terms then.
Hmm. In that case, you must join me for tea. Would you do me that honor?
Do you always invite strangers for tea?
Absolutely. How else do strangers become acquaintances?
Ah, that is a fair point. As you wish.
He walks to you and he will lead you down a side alley. It's actually not that far at all, just one left turn, one right turn straight ahead for about 20 feet, and then another left turn until you find yourself under a small sign that says the Grinning Fox Inn. And he will open the flap of silk that protects the doorway for you so that you can duck underneath it.
Okay, yeah, she will enter.
As you step through, you become immediately aware that you have entered into a place that is much closer to the spirit world than the ordinary city is. If not, maybe if not a cairn, something that is not far off the concept. Here, the wall is much thinner, much looser, much more easy to traverse. You stand in the middle of a courtyard that appears to be nearly perfectly circular, in the center of which there's a large circular pond in which you can see many fish happily swimming. The fish themselves could be spirits or flesh, it's hard to tell. Surrounding the pond, you see a number of small pagodas that are set up for the relaxation of numerous individuals. And you see a number of individual shifters who have taken on their many different forms in order to be more comfortable, some of which are human, some of which are very much not human. And the individual in question closes the flap behind you. Hmm. Welcome to the Grinning Fox Inn.
Quite an interesting establishment.
I tend to find that if one cannot be interesting, then one becomes dull, stagnant, and boring, and that's just not a place where one wants to be, is it?
She'll lick her lips. Says, I presume not. Most things are usually flowing.
Allow me to introduce myself, he will say, bowing his head. My name is Ishiro Kaneda, or Kaneda. I'm the regent of Kyoto.
It is indeed a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
I like to get to know all of the new faces at some point or another, and your face is very new and very lovely.
Thank you.
Hmm,
There's a name to the face. I am Shimizu Yuki.
a pleasure. Will you take tea with me?
How could I possibly deny such an honor?
He motions, and you see a small woman who's kneeling by the door, who bows her head very, very deeply as she says, Lord, uh, Lord Shiro, it is an unexpected pleasure. Indeed. I had not intended to be here today, but then again, one finds what one's feet will show. Yes, my lord. I will have your pagoda prepared and tea brought. Ah, Miss, sorry, Shimazu, yes, Shimazu-san, question. Are you hungry? Hmm.
Hmm, it's been a while since breakfast. I have walked quite a bit.
Very well. Have rice and fish brought up. Good, good. He will lead you through the gathering of individuals. You will see a very old looking Macaulay who is laying there taking the sun. He looks up at you. The alligator form that he is currently in is almost white, elongated, almost draconic as he looks at you with old eyes before he lets his head sink back down.
She'll bow very respectful to the Macaulay.
The Macaulay looks at you with its reptile like eyes, and it says in a deep voice, using having shifted its vocal cords to be human, it says, Ah, so I was not expecting to see one such as you for quite some time. Hmm,
It is quite
interesting.
an honor to meet one of our oldest siblings.
Hmm. Allow me to do the introductions, Kanede will say. This is Zhao Shen Fen Lung, or Zhao Lung, if you prefer. He is the eldest of his kind in this region. I was never quite sure, but he tends to the matters spiritual and is rather adept at his craft. Macaulay simply nods its large head. It then kind of it looks at you for a brief moment, and it says, "Most interesting indeed." For it puts its head back down, and it seems to go to sleep.
I mean, she would not disturb someone. If that's what he wishes to do, then
I tend to find that when they get to that, well, then again, I'm incredibly old, but that's neither here nor there. My people have a pretension to be incredibly old. We maintain our youthful sprite and vigor, though, I like to think.
each one of us has their own capabilities.
So, he will seat you down in one of the pagodas that has been set up. Tea and food will be brought on very fine bone china and is laid out before you before the servant will bow and depart. Kaneda leans against leans on they're very interesting actually. You only ever find them in Japan or in China. They're like small armrests, but they're built into the wall so you can lean up, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
They have a name, but I can't quite remember what it is.
That's fine.
But he's leaning on one of those, so he's kind of propped up as he leans, and he says, "I'm curious. Why is it that you've come all of this way, Miss Yuki?"
I mostly come here to find work and wisdom.
If you had to choose between work or wisdom, which would you choose? Hmm.
Both are of equal importance, except the one is useful, is necessary in the short term, where the other is probably more important in the long term.
I've met so many people in my long life, and I assure you, many of them are completely, utterly, and totally devoid of wisdom.
But many are not me. I may be one of many, but not many are one.
I can entirely understand that perspective. So, he looks at her with his very, very odd, very, very focused eyes, and he says, "I have no doubt that you come here seeking something. You said work or wisdom. I can offer both. Which would you prefer, work or wisdom?"
From one such as yourself, I have faith in my capabilities that I can find work in many places. Wisdom, however, is something that is rarely found. From you, I would choose wisdom.
Hmm. A wise choice. Were I you, and were I to walk the path that I sense that very well will soon be walked, if I were you, I would leave this city immediately.
Oh?
Hmm. There are many things that are moving here, many things that move unseen, many things that are dangerous, and many things that have yet to be resolved. If you wish a life of quiet contemplation, happiness, joy, and your work, I would not be in Kyoto.
Hmm. One could also say that in times of trouble, my work might be more wanted for some.
Perhaps. Only time will tell the truth.
It's quite interesting how you're not asking after my work.
He places down his teacup and he moves his finger around the teacup with one smooth movement of his wrist. And as he does so, you see the teacup start to, you see that the tea in the cup, it's deep green. You see it start to shimmer until you're looking somewhere far away at something that is not at someone whom you've never met before, who's crossing over the threshold into Kyoto. You can see they came into the same gate you did a few days ago, and he says, "Another new arrival. If I wish to know something about people, it's my family's gift to know what we seek to know."
I see.
So as to what you do, he smiles. I cannot possibly comment on what I cannot possibly say that I do or do not know.
It is a humble job, but in times of great stress, it can be a relief.
Yes, of this I have no doubt.
And as you said, one must always move. A city is always moving, a city in great stress. It moves faster, and it might be interesting to see what wisdom the ripples will give you.
Of that, I have no doubt.
Mhm.
I'm just making this a little more public in case anyone wants to bimble into the grinning fox so you can meet more people. If not, it's cool.
Yay!
He will say, so that is what you seek to do in Kyoto.
Mm. If it proves that the ripples are too strong for me to swim in, then and the water has become stormy, there's always a chance of moving out.
Blessed are those who can move unseen.
Sometimes being seen is the best way to move.
I should think that you're probably right.
Mm.
Unfortunately, my master, Lord Nizan, the patriarch of my line and the ruler of Kyoto, is very ill. He has been sick for quite some time. His life force draws. hmm, Even our supernatural powers can only sustain us for so long.
Is there a. Do you know what causes it?
Old age.
Mm. Something not many of us can fight forever.
No. However, they now view this time as well. Certain individuals view this time as an excellent opportunity to make political statements. For if my lord were to, with his dying breath, endorse one side of an argument or another, it would have great weight.
Mm. Of course. These times can bring out the best and the worst of people.
Hmm.
I think
The,
I am
kits,
exactly where I need to be.
the Kitsune, for our part, are merely trying to keep a hold of the reins. Because after all, there are many things in the city, many secrets, many lies, many illusions. And if they were to suddenly all become visible, be heard, or be seen at once, well, we fear that things would shatter apart like a broken glass.
Yes, that would be no fun.
For a given value of fun, I suppose. He smiles and he says, unfortunately, peace is too much of a price to pay for some. War is the only currency that they understand.
Then perhaps they need to learn again. Every one of us has a task, and war is none of these tasks. Well,
Excuse me,
mm, don't I?
I'm fine. And now we see how the time turns, how the fate reveals itself, eh?
I am not one who has a long memory. I can only witness what is happening now.
He puts down his teacup and he will stand up and he will bow and he will say, "On that note, it has been a pleasant conversation. However, my path leads me elsewhere. I should wish many blessings upon you, Miss Yuki."
May your path bring you to peace. She'll stand up and bow as well. Still.
He will stride away. You'll see everyone bows to him as he walks. He is, after all, the second most important kitsune in the city, and they rule the city. However, as you sit down, you notice something interesting. Under his teacup, there is a folded piece of paper, or rather, a folded piece of something. It looks like paper, but it's not paper.
She'll carefully take it. We'll open it.
Inside, or rather, as you open it, you find the fact that it appears to be very, very, very well maintained leather. And it's got some symbols on the inside of it, but you have no idea what they mean.
Okay. Um, she's not gonna even think that this was not meant for her in some way. So, she'll,
If you actually, if you want to make me an intelligence, either primal or academics, whichever you prefer.
primal urge.
Okay.
I don't have academics, dude.
I mean, I don't fucking know. You could be a fucking book smart snake.
Yes, I could, but no, I'm not. Here comes my one of my greatest dice pools. I have one success. Just one.
It resonates with you. It's I can. What's the name of the scripty language that the shifters have? It has a name.
Uh, I don't know.
We shall call it shifting runes. There you go. It is
But
a
you mean the
version
glyph?
of that.
It's not glyphs, right? No, of course not glyphs. Well,
I think that they are constituted as glyphs.
yeah.
We'll call them shifting runes, but it's incredibly old.
Hmm. Interesting. I'm trying to look up one of my gifts, but I can't find it. God damn it. It's great when you have a gift and you don't know what it does, and like, let's try and look it up because it might be useful, and then it's like, well, not today apparently. Hmm. Well, maybe it's there. Oh, maybe it is there. Oh. Oh no, that's only a target. That's not an object. That's just a person. It's not going to work. Okay, no, that's not working. Check. Hmm. Other than that, like, no, I don't think there's. What does the secret spell go to? Hmm.
Right, three is one of your best dice pools.
No. There it is. Hmm. No, no, that is also not something that I can use. Okay, no. And no, three is not one of my best dice pools. Duh. It was one of my worst dice pools.
Ah, cynicism.
It's a thing. So yeah, no, she'll fold the paper back and we'll put it in like a satchel, a purse, or whatever she's carrying along. Sure, she's
Kimono
something
sleeves
pretty
are where you keep most things because they actually are huge
amazing.
sleeves. Yeah.
Then she'll tuck it into her sleeve.
I bet she carried a bottle of sake, a kabuki mask, uh, two scrolls, and a chocolate bar in my sleeves at one point when I was
Hmm.
laughing.
Especially the chocolate bar. Amazing.
Yeah, but you can eat chocolate.
Yeah, I can. Sugar
Dark
free.
chocolate is not chocolate. Like me.
I will.
Okay. But yes, so is there anything else you wish to do?
Um, I don't think there's like a nest in the city.
No.
Nah, I figured. Okay. In that case, no. She's just gonna try and find a job as a either a masseur or an acupuncturist.
Okay.
So
In that
yeah.
case, I think we're pretty much good. So thank you, player, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another scene in Memories of the Cherry Blossom Throne. Have a pleasant evening.